Okay, it is Thursday, October 13th, 2022. Richland County Board of Commissioners are now in session. Commissioner Vero here, joined by Commissioners Banks and Mears. Our clerk, Stacy Kroll, the man whose name you see on all the gas pumps throughout Richland County, Auditor Pat Dropsy. We're going to blame him for the gas prices going up. Contrary to some of the stickers we see, our County Administrator, Andrew Keller. We have Walter White and Jesse Pinkman online.
Al and Carl are online.
We do have Walter and Jesse online. So, is he Breaking Bad?
No, I've never seen that.
All right. Moving on then, Pat is here with a proposal. Pat had a departure in his office a year or so ago. Pat, always being mindful of public dollars, did not fill that position. The departing employee was paid a small stipend to fulfill some of his duties, and Pat didn't fulfill that position. So Pat is here today to present a proposal to us, which would again be cheaper for the taxpayers than fulfilling that position in full, as current employees absorb some of the outgoing employees' duties. And then he's seeking approval of a contract to fulfill the remainder of the duties. So Pat, take it away, please.
Okay, so Andy, as you said, Andy left and went to the county treasurer's office. And when he was working for the county auditor's office, half of his year, at least 6 months, sometimes 7 if there were any issues, was spent on preparing the county's financial report, preparing reports from Munis for the auditors from the Auditor State's office to ensure that everything went smooth during the audit. Anything that needed to be handled, he would take care of that. With him leaving, we were left with a couple choices to make. The first choice I did was I called the Auditor State's office. They have a separate department called Local Government Services. Now, they already do the QA on all of Andy's work prior to it going to the auditors for the audit to be done. And that cost the county approximately $4,000 a year. The last year that prior to Andy leaving, it was $4,200. So they also, in that division, they have people that would do the same type of work that Andy would do. They would prepare everything for the audit. They were unable to provide us a body like full time. They did, however, provide us the ability during the 2021 audit, which was handled this past year, to have some money available to do the work that Andy used to do, but not on a full-time basis. So they increased their contract from $4,200 with the county to $26,500 for this year, for the 21 financial statements. I also came to you last year prior to our budget being passed and asked for an increase in our budget of $26,000 for a stipend for Andy. The majority of that stipend was to be used for preparation of different reports, being available for the auditors if they needed some information about how things happen. But also another one of his duties was doing the end of the year closure of the financial records of Munis and in the beginning of the next year's opening. And so we still needed him to teach some people the different reports and the different ways of handling that, which he was available for the opening, and we're still going to use him at the end of this year to finish closing the books at the end of December, beginning of January. So that was a budget of $26,000 for him. So this year's audit report cost an extra $52,500 because of those two circumstances. To give you an idea, the previous year, we spent $4,000 on LGS, the department that did the Q&A for us, and I calculated it was approximately $40,000 of Andy's salary for a 6-month period of time. And that was just straight salary. It wasn't the benefits that the county also had to incur for that. So that was in 21 for the 20 odd, that was 44,000 and some change, 44,200. This proposal from Julian Group, who, if you look in there, one of the, pages shows all the different entities in the state of Ohio that they do work for, anywhere from performing cash, reconciliation, documents, small audits for small auditees to the full-blown audits or full-blown PAFR and PAFRs, which I'll explain in a second what those actually are, for counties and school districts. I got their name from the treasurer of Ontario Schools, Randy Harvey. He and I have known each other for 30-some years. He says Julian Group has been performing the service that we need for Ontario School District for multiple years. He has all the faith in them. He has never had an issue with them. They've provided the service and they stuck to their proposals that they presented to the school district. They've never increased their like a work change order or anything like that. They've been, whatever they say they're going to do it for, they do it for. So they gave us two proposals. One was for the county's annual financial report, which is the CAFR, and that's the 200+ page report. That is what Moody's is interested in, what Standard & Poor's is interested in, what different federal agencies and that give grants to the county, and also the state agencies that provide grants to the county. That is a report that was created due to the 1985 Single Audit Act. There is also another report that is done. It's called a PAFR. It's called the Popular Annual Financial Report. And in the County Auditors Association, we call that the comic book because it has pictures and graphs and colors to show, over like about 15 pages, what goes on with the county's monies every year. It's not an audited report like the CAFR is, but it meets the guidelines of the state auditor's office as far as providing information on a more basic type of format for the public to understand. I mean, look at the CAFR. It's a pain in the butt to read. It's a pain in the butt to understand, but that's what New York wants. That's what Washington, D.C. wants, and that's what Columbus wants. So we're required to do that. Their proposal is for the CAFR to perform work necessary to create the CAFR and create the CAFR is $26,500 a year over 3 years. To create the PAFR, first year is $4,500, and I believe it drops to about $2,000 a year for the second and third year. And the main reason of that is because it takes a little bit extra time to create the first years because they have to, create the template. They have to create all the different styles of graphs that are required for it, and they're going from ground zero to perform what is required. I mean, they're well aware of what's required from the state auditor's office, especially, but also from Washington, D.C. when it comes to the federal grants that we have to provide this information for. So what I'm asking is for you to consider going from 52.5 this year. Last year was 44.2 to next year of 35.2. And then after that, it'll drop to 33.2. And that'll include the LGS Q&A that they'll still be required to do. They just won't be doing it on Andy's work. They'll be doing it on Julian Group's work if you approve this.
Did you get all those letters, Carl, now?
I'm actually looking as we speak at what year was this? December 31st, 2020, Popular Annual Financial Report from Patrick Dropsey's office.
That's the PAFR.
It's got a lot of pretty charts and stuff.
We expect you to provide a full review of what you find in that at the next meeting.
Thus far, what I found is very disturbing. There'll be interesting things. I would like to get a copy. I think I saw Pat had a proposal or something that looks like it's in writing. At some point, I'd like to get a copy of that this morning, if possible.
Well, if you can send me your email,
I can send it. I have it, Pat. So Pat, I was looking. So if my math is correct, If we went with a 3-year for both of those, it would be 28,400 annually. If we just went for a year on a trial basis, it would be 31,400 for 1 year. So there is a little bit of savings, obviously, which makes sense as you have a multi-year contract. There's only about a $200 difference between a 2 and a 3, but it is $200. Do you have a recommendation to the board as to what you would like to go with?
I personally like to go for the 3-year only because it gives us some stability over the next couple of years. Plus, it's cheaper. And I do want you to remember that there's still a $4,000 contract that we have with the state auditor's office for the Q&A. And that's why I included the amount of 35 thereabouts.
Village of Belleville has used this company several times to do their audit, which I understand is a little different than what we're asking to do here, but you guys did a good job and we're good to work with.
We do get requests from them for other entities in Richland County, so we know they do other entities in Richland County. Like, they're no different than any other auditors that that might be doing somebody's financials. You get requests all year long for whether it's a village, whether it's a township, or whether it's a school district, to provide information to them so that they continue to prepare their reports like we're asking you guys to approve.
These things are the cost of doing business.
Yes,
Gotta do them.
All right, so I believe that would be option 3 on both, which is the 3-year. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion. Well, Andrew, have you reviewed it? Have you reviewed these?
I've looked at it.
Would you prefer to take a look before we approve? Oh, okay.
And obviously not replacing
no,
Andy's or
but that body is not going to get replaced. Most of the stuff he did outside of the financial information for the audit has been spread out to other people in the office.
At this time, I'll ask for a motion that we proceed with entering into 2 contracts for 3 years with Julian and Grube for the completion of our POFR and coffers. That would be the motion.
I will make that motion.
And I will second it.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, Al, I'll send you a copy of that as well.
All right, thank you. What is the name of the company again?
Julian and Grube.
How do you spell-
Grube.
Julian, common spelling?
Julian, yes.
Okay, do you know where they're out of?
Marion,
If you would just wait 2 minutes, it'll be on the contract I send you out.
Okay. I
Okay.
don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Pat, how much was, what was Andy being paid when he worked in the auditor's office?
I know it was over 70.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. I'd have to go back and look at your personal service schedules.
Okay. And other than coming back to help closing the books or closing up Munis this year, he remains full-time in the treasurer's office.
Yes,
And he will stop getting the stipend then as Julian Grube will take this over.
Okay, that's what I needed. Thanks.
All right.
thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
I got your sir.
Motion to certify the regular proceedings for October 11th, 2022.
There's a small typo. Let's see. 4. Middle, it's a minor thing, the misspelling of the word building. This will be a social services building with arts and enrichment. That's Pastor Davis.
Okay.
That's all.
I don't have it in front of me. So building is,
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, so moved.
want a second, Commissioner Barrow?
I do.
Thank you. Commissioner Barrow, Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve requisitions.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
And last but not least, motion to approve weekly transfers and appropriations.
Second.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
That seems to be it for the day. Any questions from the media?
No, not for me. I'm good.
All right, seeing nothing further, we will adjourn at 9:45.
Okay.